A rusted 1971 Hemi Cuda pulled from a Pennsylvania barn last year sold for $3.5 million, covered in chicken droppings and missing its tires. Thousands of these forgotten machines are still sitting in American barns right now, and most families have no idea what they own. By the end, you'll know all 20, and exactly how to tell $1 million car from a parts pile. We start with the 1967 Shelby GT500 Mustang. Carroll Shelby built just 2,048 of them that year, each with a 428 Police Interceptor V8 putting out 355 horsepower. A barn find GT500 discovered in North Carolina in 2019. Rusted floors, mice in the seats, sold at Mecum auction for $407,000. A clean, numbers-matching example today brings 250,000 to over $1 million. Look for the VIN starting with 7T02 and the Shelby serial plate on the driver's side fender. But wait until you see what was hiding in a Missouri barn at number 2. Number 2, the 1963 Chevrolet Corvette split-window coupe. Only built for one single year, Chevrolet ditched the split rear window in 1964 because Zora Arkus Duntov hated it. That one-year-only design now makes it the holy grail of Corvettes. A pristine Z06 version sold at Barrett-Jackson for $742,500. Even a rough barn find split window brings $80,000 to $150,000. The giveaway is the divided rear window and the round gas cap with crossed flags. And the next one rotted under a tarp for 40 years. The 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air is the car of the American post-war dream. Chevy sold over 1.5 million of them. But the fuel-injected 283 V8 version, only 1,530 built, is the one collectors chase. A barn find Fueli Bel Air convertible found in an Iowa shed in 2021 brought $192,000 at auction. Standard convertibles still bring $75,000 to $130,000 restored. Look for the FI emblem on the front fenders and the code 579 on the trim tag. Number 4 is even rarer, SOA, and a lot faster. Number 4, the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Dodge built just 503 of these wing cars to qualify for NASCAR, with that famous 23-inch rear spoiler and the pointed nose cone. A Hemi-powered Daytona sold at Mecum Kissimmee in 2022 for $1.32 million. Even a rusted partial barn find brings $300,000. The key check is the fender tag with code XX29 and a 426 Hemi engine stamp. But number 5 is the one Mopar collectors literally fly across the country to look at, the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. Plymouth built only 666 hardtops and just 14 convertibles with the 426 Hemi engine that year. 14. A 1971 Hemi Cuda convertible sold privately in 2021 for $4.8 million, more than most Ferraris. A coupe barn find in any condition starts at $500,000. The fender tag must show engine code E74, and the -VN starts with BS23R. If you ever see a shaker hood scoop poking out of an old tarp, do not walk away. Number 6 was built in tiny numbers before the war. The 1936 Auburn 852 Speedster is pure rolling Art Deco. Auburn built fewer than 600 of these supercharged boat-tail beauties before going bankrupt in 1937. That curved chrome exhaust pipe on the side, that's the supercharger giveaway. An original 852 Speedster sold at R.M. Sotheby's for $1.43 million in 2023. Even an unrestored project car runs $250,000. Check the firewall data plate for the serial prefix 33. And the next car was so far ahead of its time, the government tried to bury it. Number 7, the 1948 Tucker 48 sedan. Preston Tucker built only 51 cars before lawsuits and federal investigations shut him down. A center headlight that turned with the steering, a rear engine, pop-out windshield for safety. Of the 51, 47 survive today. Tucker, number 44, sold at Bonhams for $2.04 million. In 2023, there is almost no chance of a true barn find now. But project parts cars have surfaced as recently as 2014. Look for the serial plate beginning with 10. Number 8 is the king of American hot rods. The 1932 Ford Roadster, the famous Deuce. Ford built about 12,597 Roadsters that year, and they became the foundation of American hot rodding. An all-original, unmodified 1932 Deuce Roadster, rare because most got chopped up, sold at Mecum for $385,000. Even barn find rolling chassis bring $40,000 to $80,000. Look for the frame stamp 18XXX and the original flathead V8 engine number. Hot rodders will pay cash on the spot. But number 9, that's the most valuable American car ever built. The Duesenberg Model J, built from 1928 to 1937, only 481 chassis produced. These were the cars of Clark Gable, Gary Cooper, and Howard Hughes. A 1935 Duesenberg SSJ, owned by Gary Cooper, sold at Pebble Beach in 2018 for $22 million. The most expensive American car ever auctioned. Even a non-celebrity Model J brings $1 million to $3 million. The straight 8 engine has DOHC and the chassis plate is stamped JXXX. Several Duesenbergs have been found in barns since 1990. Number 10 was built in Germany but loved in America. The 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. Mercedes built only 1,400 of these, and Americans bought most of them. Importer Max Hoffman convinced Mercedes to build a road version of the racing car. Today, a 300 SL Gullwing brings $1.4 million to over $3 million at auction. A barn find with original aluminum body panels recently sold for $2.7 million at Gooding & Company. Check the chassis number 198 Core 40 and look for the rare lightweight alloy bodies. And number 11 is the car Enzo Ferrari called the most beautiful in the world. The 1961 Jaguar E-Type. Jaguar built about 72,500 over 13 years, but the early Series 1 with the flat floor, outside hood latch design, only about 500 of those is the gold standard. A 1961 E-Type Roadster sold at Bonhams for $467,000 in 2022. Even a rough barn find pulls $80,000 to $150,000. Look for the chassis number 8775XXX and the welded louvers on the hood. Many were brought back from Vietnam and Korea by GIs. Number 12 was the only car to ever beat Ferrari at Le Mans 4 years in a row. The Ford GT40, the car Henry Ford II Built to humiliate Ferrari, Ford produced just 105 GT40s between 1964 and 1969, and only 31 of the Mark I road cars. A 1968 GT40 sold at R.M. Sotheby's for $7.65 million. Even a replica from the Shelby American era brings $400,000. Real GT40s have chassis stamps starting with GT40P or GT108. A barn-stored Mark II surfaced in Mexico in 2016. It had been parked since 1971. Number 13 is the most American sports car ever made. Back to America, the 1957 Chevrolet Corvette. Chevrolet built 6,339 Corvettes that year, but only 240 came with the rare fuel injection 203 cubic inch V8, the first American production engine to make 1 horsepower per cubic inch. A 1957 Fuelie Corvette sold at Mecum for $269,500. Standard 283 Corvettes bring $90,000 to $140,000. The fuel-injected version has FI badges and a special air cleaner stamped 7014800. Several have been found in barns in the last decade. Number 14 is the muscle car Steve McQueen made famous. The 1968 Ford Mustang GT Fastback, the bullet car. Ford built 42,581 GT Fastbacks in 1968, but the original Highland Green Bullet movie car, lost for decades, sold at Mecum in 2020 for $3.74 million. A standard 1968 GT 390 Fastback today brings $80,000 to $150,000. Barn finds with the original 390 V8 still pull $40,000 even with rust. Look for the data plate code S for the 390 GT engine and trim code CT5A. And number 15 is the most outrageous car Detroit ever sold. Number 15, the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz convertible. Cadillac built only 1,320 Biarritz convertibles with those famous towering tail fins, the tallest fins ever put on an American car. A restored Biarritz brings $200,000 to $350,000 at Barrett-Jackson. A barn find original still brings $50,000 even with surface rust. The dual bullet taillights and the 390 V8 with triple 2-barrel carburetors are the markers. Check the body number plate starting with 59E, and number 16 won Daytona, then disappeared from American memory. The 1951 Hudson Hornet. Hudson sold about 43,000 Hornets in 1951, and they dominated NASCAR with the famous twin H-Power Flathead 6. A restored Hornet Hollywood hardtop brought 93,500s at Mecum. Barn find Hornets with the twin H setup pulled 20,000 to 40,000, and they're getting harder to find. The key is the dual carburetor intake stamped 308 and the step-down chassis design. Hudson collectors are paying premiums right now because Disney's Doc Hudson revived interest. Number 17 was an Art Deco masterpiece. The 1937 Cord 812 Phaeton. The Cord 812 had front-wheel drive, hidden headlights you cranked by hand, and a supercharged V8 in 1937. Only 196 supercharged Phaetons were built. A restored 812 SC Phaeton sold at Pebble Beach for $1.32 million. Even a non-running barn find brings $150,000 to $300,000. Look for the SC badge on the exhaust pipes and the serial number on the firewall starting with 31. Several cords have been pulled from Midwest barns since 2000. Number 18 was Studebaker's last great design. Number 18. The 1953 Studebaker Commander Starliner. Designed by Raymond Loewy, the Starliner was so beautiful, it shocked Detroit. Studebaker built about 236 Starliners in 1953, but rust took most of them. A clean, restored Starliner brings $50,000 to $90,000. Barn finds with intact body panels, because rust is the killer here, go for $15,000 to $25,000. Look for the body code C5 on the firewall plate. Hot rodders pay top dollar for the bodies alone. Number 19 is one of the most feared muscle cars on the street. The 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. Chevy made about 4,475 LS6 Chevelles in 1970 with 450 horsepower from the factory. The most powerful muscle car of the era. A documented LS6 Chevelle convertible sold at Mecum for $577,500. Even a coupe with the original LS6 brings $150,000 to $300,000. Check the cowl tag for code Z15 and the engine block stamp CRV. Many were tucked away during the gas crisis and forgotten. Most important, the number 20 is the rarest American car of the pre-war era. Number 20, the 1934 Packard 12. Packard built only 960 12s in 1934, with a 445 cubic inch V12 producing 160 horsepower, smoother than silk. A 1934 Packard 12 convertible Victoria sold at R.M. Sotheby's for $935,000. Even sedans bring $150,000 to $300,000 restored. Barn find 12s still surface in old estates. One came out of a Connecticut carriage house in 2019 after sitting since 1958. Look for the body number plate prefix 1107 and the V12 with the long Packard hood ornament. These are the cars presidents rode in. Any one of these 20 cars could be sitting under a tarp in a barn near you right now. The next time an old neighbor mentions cleaning out the back shed, ask if you can take a look first. It might be the find of a lifetime. If you enjoyed this trip through American automotive history, please subscribe to this channel for more stories like it. And tell me in the comments, which one of these 20 cars do you remember riding in? Or have you ever spotted one rotting away somewhere? I read every comment.